What is up? We're back.
Hey,
We're back.
we are.
You are
We are
live from the mobile bunker, the battle wagon.
live from the middle of nowhere, Alaska.
Yeah, that's why you've got a little bit of a delay. So that's okay. Everybody, you're gonna give us grace tonight because I'm coming from the middle of nowhere, Missouri. He's coming from the middle of nowhere, Alaska, and we're still bringing you a show.
Yeah.
We tried last week. Pastor Tim was having all kinds of trouble because they were having a major forest fire where he lived, and that was not good, man. They were struggling bad. They cut a mainline trunk on the internet, and yeah, we just couldn't. We couldn't do it, so we tried. It looks like
Bummer.
we're live.
My scheduled guest was not able to make it either.
Well, yeah, but you had Lydia.
I did. I had a special guest.
So that's great.
Last minute.
Very cool.
Last minute special guest in the studio. Thought it worked out pretty well. I got a couple people contacted me.
The two times I attempted to watch, I didn't have enough internet to watch. So I assume you guys talked economic stuff and things like that.
Yep, end of the world economics, nice. Indicators of recession and things like that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's stuff we need to hear about. So, guys, if you missed that was not last week. That was the week before. So you guys want to check that out. So, and then you promptly
2 weeks ago, yeah, I was in the studio and that went well. A couple of people contacted me afterwards, and so that was very useful. One of the major takeaways was if you think you're going to relocate, you'd really better light a fire like now, because you won't be doing that soon. And that came from the real estate expert.
Hence the oak tree behind me.
Yeah.
So you've been testing out your battle wagon. How's it been going? Tell me about your systems rolling, your generators working. You feel like it's in good shape?
I think we're having some issues with batteries, but I checked the batteries. These brand new batteries apparently came not full of water, and I think they cooked for a while. The first time I went ahead and did a trip on it without checking it, then checked it before the next trip, and every cell was empty. I put 2 gallons of distilled water in, and now they are not really holding a charge very well. So we shall see. There are some tricks in bringing batteries like that back. I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it or mess with it. But so I can get somewhere between 12 and 16 hours running our residential fridge and systems, heat and everything, running boondocking. Right. And then I need to run a generator for an hour. 40 to 60 minutes is what it takes to recharge everything. Of course, we're charging laptops and other things like that.
Sure.
I have a couple of I have a couple of I know people like to call them solar generators. They're not. They're just batteries. They're batteries with a fancy housing and a built-in inverter, right?
Yeah, so I have a couple of those. They've got the charge controller built into them.
Right. It's a neat package, all in one package, but it's just a battery. So I can watch an entire Jesse Stone movie, or stream I can stream the new Top Gun Maverick, running the laptop and my TV and my sound system off of that. So that's the litmus, right? Like, how long can you run on your solar generator? Well, I can run a laptop, a small 32-inch flat screen TV, the sound system. And then my phone streaming the internet.
There you go.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, no, that's not bad at all, actually. I've got a little Jackery unit that's got its own standalone solar panel and stuff that I can do that. Yeah, we did an episode last fall from hunting camp.
We talked about these.
Yeah.
We talked about these. So I've got one that's large like the Jackery, the smaller Jackery, I think. I don't know. Similar to the
This
one
is
that
a
you have.
small one.
And then I have one that's like, and then I have one that's half that size. It's great for, you know, uh, I use it for cameras and um, my little lights, portable lights, and things like that. So
You probably get your
it'll
drones,
charge
charge a few drones.
GoPros, and I don't
Nice.
think I can quite do my drone on that. Even my smaller one has an intense rapid charge, so it doesn't. It needs real power.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, yeah. So we've been working systems. This is day 12 or 13 for us in the
Good.
in the coach.
Good.
I think coming up on 1,800 miles that we've traveled,
Nice.
and we have about 2 more days to go. So,
Nice. I want to. I'd love to estimate your fuel bill. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see.
well, it's
Uh,
very easy because again, a very predictable fuel economy. Um,
yeah.
it's just under 11, but I go ahead and plan for 10 miles per gallon.
Okay.
But we're honestly getting much closer to 10.8.
Okay. Okay.
So, and that's including generator usage. So we are plugged in more often than not. I think we've been doing a couple of days in a primitive site, which is electricity only. Uh, time. Right now we're on day 2 of, of boondocking, having stayed in a full hookup site the day before that because we had to do work in that community, which means we want to take showers and do laundry and things like that, which we can do. Plus, it was time to top off the water tank. So I've topped it off twice now. But yeah, I mean, our longest boondocking is 5 days,
So
running the generator for about 1 hour a day.
you have laundry facility on the coach?
I do have a washer dryer unit. You really need to be connected to uh, full hookups for that, and it's rather small, but it's enough to do the unmentionables, right? Um, or a couple towels or something like that. Um, it's not the greatest, but it's better than using a public facility. One of the places we were staying at outside or north of Fairbanks was $4 to do a load of laundry, and if you're already paying for full hookups, why not just use your own? So,
Yeah.
but you know me, I'd bring everything I need for the entire trip plus a margin.
Yeah.
So everybody brought 18 days worth of everything we needed.
I feel like
18 days of food.
I feel like people forget how important just going camping is. Because it's like
No,
it is such a wonderful test of your preps. Even if you are in a campground, even if you go to
it,
the KOA and you've got
yeah.
some redundancy, you've got some backup, but can you function without the normal like full functioning grid power? Can you function, you know what I mean? Like, those kinds of things are really important to test out.
Yeah. We had the boy um, pull out his get home bag, which is stuff we keep in our coach. Um, it's a pretty serious get home. So if we were to have an EMP event or a major, something, and we had to make the decision to leave the coach and start figuring out how to make a, 300 to 800 mile trek home, that bag's pretty intense. It's getting down to about 40 at night, so it's cold. Um, so the boy has been testing out some of his get home bag things, and some things are getting yanked out, and some new things are getting put in, and some things that he forgot to put in there. I use these little expandable bellows. Maybe you've seen them. They're like an expandable um, radio antenna,
Yeah.
except cut off on both ends.
Yeah.
And so you pull it out, right, and you blow in the large end, and it focuses intense heat, and it gets your face a good I want to say 18 to 24 inches. It's something like that, right? 2 feet maybe
Yeah,
away
away from your
from
fire.
where you want. Right. So they're really, really good for getting a fire going. And so the
I've
boy's
been
been in
wanting to
charge of
add
getting
one.
fires going.
I've been wanting to add one to my
Yeah, they're
kit.
great. I gave them to a bunch of people for Christmas a couple years ago. My kids each have two. I've got 2 or 4, one in the truck, one in the coach, one in the get home bag, one in the daily bag. Um, but the boy forgot his. So he didn't get to use mine. It's an experience. It's a growing experience, to get smoke in the eyes and figure out
That's right.
how to blow on fire, and taking your
So
time to do your fire prep um, before starting. Right.
having it
I
all
haven't
ready.
done. I haven't given him matches yet. I've been letting him use a lighter, but I tell him if you get 2 clicks of about 5 seconds of that flame, and that's it. That should be way more than enough.
Way more.
Way more. 5 seconds of flame is way more than enough.
If you've
So
done a
10
good
seconds
job
especially.
prepping, if you've done a good job prepping your fire, that's all you need. That's it. That's
You
all
could do
to
it
it.
with sparks. If you've done your
Sure.
job, you could do it with sparks. So
100%. That's true.
not wasting any of that. We've done that on the older child. We've we've given her ferro rods and said, "Have at it."
Yeah.
You better have ferro rods to spare when you're teaching children,
Well, they'll wear
because
them right out.
they're going to use the whole rod in one go.
They're going to use the whole rod in one go. You can scrape off a lot of material and never make a spark if you don't know but no, the man cub, he had that big air show in Kansas City. Well, it was actually ended up being Wichita, but they went up. His Civil Air Patrol group went, and they were camping. You know, and it's really funny because we basically have trained him that at any point, his scoutmaster, his Civil Air Patrol officers, daddy can do a kit shakedown. Like we can do it to a full, do a shakedown and do you have what you need when you need it? Did you go through all your systems and make sure they're ready to go? And I was proud of him. We had to do it. We had to do a mad dash back for his uniform boots. He forgot to pack. That he would have looked like a total dweeb in his ABUs and his and tennis shoes. They wouldn't have let him do it a bit in uniform. But anyway, he other than that, he had what he needed all contained in his pack. He has a really really nice. I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, he's a Gregory, really nice Gregory pack that we picked up for him. Used. You don't buy the children who are going to destroy things brand new gear. You can go get a $450 backpack for $40 at the used, at the recycle camping store, right? And but no, it was awesome. He had everything he needed contained in his pack, and it was so crazy, man. I watched these kids piling out of their parents' vehicles they had clearly never been camping other than car camping with their families. And these kids are rolling out with extension cords with splitters,
Yeah.
multiple like 5 and 6 bags, furniture, all this stuff, and it's like, bro, and Chip's just standing there, like squared away, got his pack, rocking and rolling. Um, I was really proud of him, and he had a great trip. He did really really well. He had everything he needed. I think the folks that were around him were impressed by the level of equipment that he had. So yeah, it was good. Camping's important.
Yeah, kids need to camp. It is important to, well, everybody needs to camp.
Everybody needs to
Everybody
camp.
needs to know what it's like to sleep outside without a heater. Um,
And the less you
to know,
the less you like camping, the more it's probably appropriate you need it to.
yeah, at least once or twice a year. But um, yeah, so it's good to test your preps, but as everybody is saying right now, it's also a good time to finalize your preps. It's really getting too late to, don't use stuff up that you think you're going to need to replace.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, ammunition is out there though. I've been running around. You can
Yeah.
get just about everything. Just about.
Yep.
I mean, there's still no 410,
Yep. No 410, no
But
45 long Colt.
I got four. I can get that.
Oh,
Um,
good.
so go get it right now.
Yeah.
You really, we can't tell you enough.
No.
Buy however much ammunition you think you're going to need in the next 10 years. Quite
Yep.
honestly, right now,
Yep. That's right.
not
Yeah.
messing around.
Whatever, if you're going to shoot, like let's say, let's budget 100 rounds a month just for training, just to keep yourself sharp, at least, and multiply that out by 10 years. And then start there, and then whatever your defensive ammo is, whatever you're going to do from there. I mean, just start buying it when you see it on the shelf. Stop calling it expensive. It's not expensive. It's available.
I don't even think a lot of it's expensive. I think the pricing is, I don't know that I would say it was good times pricing, but if you adjust for inflation, it's actually pretty not bad.
Yeah, I know.
So
I agree.
um, it's not all ridiculous. So
No,
if
no, it's not.
and that's the other thing too. It's a good time to consolidate calibers. Um,
Yep.
if you're a baby 10 mil like I am, I like to shoot the baby 10 millimeter, and that stuff is just nobody's making them anymore. It's hard to
Nope.
get parts. It's gone out of popularity, and so I mean, it makes me very angry. I'm heavily invested in it. Um, make sure that you're getting whatever spare parts. So for me, my daily carry and my go-to should hit the fan war belt gun sidearm are both in 40 Smith and Wesson, and
Right.
so for both of those firearms, I want a spare barrel, at least two, if not three, springs, and a couple spares for the magazines as well.
Yep.
Parts that are prone to breaking, get them now. Extractors are good, depending. Never hurts to have them. They're not expensive, but it's the little springs. It's the little, double action, single action trigger return springs for the SIGs. Um,
Yep.
anything striker fired, you want that firing pin striker spring. I don't remember what you call that in the striker fired, but my my M&P Pro 40 is a striker fire, and of
Yeah.
course my SIGs. I'm not into the striker fire SIGs, um, but SIG they're just no longer making guns that I like. I may
Right.
move away from the brand altogether.
Yeah, they've really taken a step away from reason as far as I'm concerned, man. I would have turned the corner and gone to SIG, except for some of the changes that they're making right now. Um, I think one of the things that folks really need to wake up to is, if you've got to have a basic knowledge of weapons craft. You've got to have a basic understanding of how your firearm works. I mean,
Right.
any semi-automatic pistol, if you can't change the barrel, you can't clean your gun. But if
Yeah.
you need to know how to clean your gun. You
That's
need to
the
know how to
basics.
Yeah,
Field
you need to know
strip.
how to field strip, change out springs, tear it all the way down, not just your basic parts, but tear it all the way down to systems level, and put it back together. And then that way you would be able to change broken parts at that point. You don't have to be a gunsmith to change parts on these guns. So because
Yeah.
what you're going to start seeing is, so one of the things that we've been seeing over the last 5 or 6 days is, these crazy people like David Hogg, and just these bastions of leftism. He's going to Harvard for free because he basically conned the world into believing that he was a part of a mass shooting. They already have plans for him to run for a national level elected official as soon as he graduates from Harvard, which will make him running for office when he's like 22, right? And
You can
so
expect Chelsea Clinton to show up somewhere in that time frame as
100%,
well.
100% soon,
Hillary
but
herself was groomed in college. She was
oh yeah,
recruited in college and groomed. Um, it's a long process. They pick their leaders way far out, and I
yep.
agree, David. Um, I don't have any
But one of
nice
the
words
things
to
you
call him, but
one of the things that they're saying, and Hogg has been one of the people pushing it really hard. they're saying that the Second Amendment has been misinterpreted. The Second Amendment has been misinterpreted. The last 5 days, we've seen a lot of the heavy hitters on the left start saying that that is the new verbiage. They're trying to move the Overton window to convince people that that's the scenario. Even though we've got Bruin, you've got the Supreme Court standing strong for Second Amendment. So I bring that up because they will begin attacking gunsmiths, FFLs, places where you would get your firearm
They
repaired.
are.
They are,
They're doing it now. Yeah.
and they're going to want, in the days and months to come. You wait and watch. They're gonna start a new registry system that happens. The ATF is going to make it so that a new level of logging, digital logging, will have to happen when you bring in a gun for repair, and it's going to be it's going to
Anytime
seem
that
very
FFL
innocuous.
touches your firearm, they're going to want it to go through and make you re-background check everything else. Yeah.
100%.
So, and that's already starting to happen. So, if you bring in one to consign, right, and you hand it to the FFL, they're not going to, if you change your mind and want it back, they're required to make you go through the system again. They can't just hand it to you.
4473 all over again.
So,
Which we know, we've proven over the last 6 months that has been and will continue
if
to
you
be a
e-file,
backdoor gun
if you
registry.
do any of the electronic 4473s, they are going to the ATF. They are not locally held on file at wherever you're doing it. It is gone up to the cloud. It's a foregone thing. So here's the deal: get what you want now.
Learn
Just
how to
be
work on it.
ready with what you're going to do when they knock on your door.
Right.
Because if you buy 2 or 3 pistols at once, or even in the same month, they're
Coming.
they're required to turn in forms, and they go to supposed to go to your local, whatever your police officer is. But some of those guys, depending on where you live, which is why it really matters where you live, they're sending them right next door to the ATF, to their
And
buddy,
if you're
calling up their
buying
buddy.
if you're buying solvent traps online, you need to know that every single one of
They're
those
coming.
places, they are all honeypots. Okay, they are all honeypots.
Yeah.
They are there to trap you. Get
Yep.
ready. We've seen footage in the last 2 weeks of ATF showing up at people's houses, going, "Hey, we
Yes.
got you got some of these solvent traps. We know you're using them as a suppressor." Well, you don't know that, and they're trying to get a loose
Admit
leaf
nothing.
confession. And the
Well, if you decide to, say you bought one of these, connector things or something stupid, something that you knew better,
yeah,
or for instance, now they're going to ban bump stocks again, right? And so you have to turn in your bump stock, whatever. We're in our grace period right now, right? And so you voluntarily surrender it to them. They hand you a form and you fill out the form. If you read the fine print on the form, it says you will no longer possess firearms. You're giving up your firearms rights on that
that's right.
form.
That's right.
You're volunteering to never possess firearms again.
That's right.
Don't give them anything. Don't sign anything. You absolutely, if you think you're going to go that route, you'd better contact a lawyer.
Yep. You better contact the lawyer.
Go
Don't
through a
sign
lawyer.
anything. Don't say anything. The footage that I've seen, the two footages that have been released in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they've done. The one guy, he played along a little more than he should have. The second guy was like, "Come back with a warrant. Come back with a warrant. Come back with a warrant." And
Yeah.
they flat out threatened him. They were like, "Well, now you're on. Now you're going to be on our watch list, and you're on our
They want
radar."
you to threaten them. They want you to threaten them right there. They're
That's right.
egging you on, trying to get you to threaten them, because then it's a whole different charge, threatening a federal officer, and they're coming in hands on right now.
Right now. Just the
You
only
decide what you're
response
going to
is
do. The
come back
reality
with a
is,
warrant. Come
this
back
is
with a
an
warrant.
unsafe country to live in right now,
Yep.
because we are being unfairly targeted for things that are completely legal, and it is completely political.
Yes.
This is a
Please
war on
understand.
conservatives and Christians.
Please understand that this is exactly, okay? And I hate hyperbole, and I hate using the example of 1937, 38, and 39. I hate using those people as an example. I hate invoking the word Nazi. But just understand, this is what the buildup looked exactly like when they were getting
It's
ready to
very
round
similar.
up and kill the Jews. Okay, this is exactly what it
Yep.
looked like. First it was dehumanization. Then it was litigation. Then they took the dehumanization to a whole nother level. Then they poured on the economic problems and basically said that if we could get rid of these people, all of our economic problems would go away. Your children would have food to eat. Guys, they're
Yep.
keying up all of it. They're keying up the economic
Doing it all over
collapse.
again.
They're keying up. But see, the difference is the Jews of 1936, 37, 38, 39. Okay, um, we're not armed to the teeth, and we're not ready to stand for who they were. They put their heads down and went, I guess we should just play along. Maybe if we just get on the
Well, not all of
bus.
them did. A lot of them left,
Most of them did.
right? I think a lot of them left. I don't know how many. I have no idea the
Well,
numbers
a lot of
because the
them
reality is
fled.
anybody who stayed died.
A lot of them
Um,
fled. Yeah, a lot of them fled. The
yeah.
smart people fled.
But they went to what? They went to Poland, they went to France, and ended up getting captured anyway, right?
Getting
So
captured anyway. That's exactly right. That's
and
exactly right.
we were not accepting people in here.
No,
I mean, some
no,
came here, but not a lot.
we were turning shipfuls of people away. As a matter of fact,
We were. That's right.
shipfuls of God's
Well,
chosen people.
the Democrats at the time in our country were pretty pro-Nazi.
Hey,
With
just no,
and you have
nobody
to look at
forget.
that in the historical context that there is, in that
No,
we didn't know what we know
right,
now, so
right.
we'll give some benefit of the doubt. Basically, they were just socialists. They were trying to
Nobody,
push socialism.
nobody
It's
forget.
not new.
No, nobody forget that Hitler was Time's Man of the Year. Time
Yeah,
magazine had Adolf Hitler on the front cover as Man of the Year. Okay, so don't forget that the leftists and the socialists and the Democrats of then, they put him on a pedestal and tried to pretend like he was going to save the world.
yeah. Well, it's all coming again. Pay attention. Wake up, or
Yep,
don't. Enjoy your little utopia. For the little bit
sure.
longer that it's going to last, and when your neighbor starts bugging out and leaving, and you can continue to just say, "Oh, I don't know what's going on. They must be crazy." Yeah,
There's a whole
they're
bunch of
the
people
half of the
watching.
country that's being demonized.
There's a whole bunch of people that just watched me, their friend and neighbor, that watched me leave a state that'll sell you up the river. They will sell you up the river. They're going to be the first ones in line to go, we'll round up these fools. Let's go. And turn
Yeah,
you over to the feds.
yeah.
I left, guys. Come
That's
follow
why.
me.
Hey, your local law enforcement matters.
Oh, it
It
matters so much.
matters who it is.
Yep.
So
Local law enforcement. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the news right now because we got some pretty crazy stuff.
ding
Ukraine launched
dong,
a uh, uh, the Ukraine
ding
launched a
dong. The queen is
major.
dead. Yeah,
Yeah, well, there's that too. The lizard queen is dead.
I take no joy in that. Whatever.
No,
She's a historical figure.
I think she's been a
I
pretty
have
decent
nothing
queen.
really one way to say one way or the other. Honestly,
I don't
so
care. I don't care. And really honestly, the people are posting that I've got 700 or 1776 reasons I don't care about the monarchy. Listen, she's a human life. She claimed to be a follower of Jesus. You know,
she
uh,
does.
and part of her title was defender of the faith. I would say she was a lot better queen than she was a defender of the faith because post Christianity Britain, like, they basically have completely walked away from anything gospel associated. Now, not the royal family. They have remained pretty devout Protestant believers. And so, okay, there's that stuff. Maybe I'll meet the queen in heaven one day. It's not my job to judge. I'm way more concerned about the fact that Ukraine launched a massive counterattack, and they're getting slapped in the pee-pee, but they're still holding strong, doing their jobs. Um, you know,
We just keep sending them more billions of dollars, more money laundering to Ukraine every
yeah,
week.
yeah.
The sniffer in chief sends them another billion or $2 billion.
Boy, that is exactly right. That is exactly right.
There's a price to
Um,
be paid for all of that, and we're gonna pay it.
we're gonna pay it, man. We're sending off all of our really good gear off to, fight in a superfluous conflict, when the real conflict is about to land on us. But hey, I think they'll probably use all that. They would probably utilize all that equipment on the American people. While you were gone, did you see the crazy black and red background speech that Biden made? The total
Yeah,
like bananas, like we're going to use F-16s against the American people. BS again for the second time. Like man, like
I
he made
didn't
it.
I didn't actually listen to it. I caught it. I caught that it had happened after the fact. I was in a wedding, and but I listened to Shapiro's take. I listened to um, uh, Louder with Crowder, Steve Crowder's take, and I figured that was probably enough. I probably got everything I needed to from those two alone, but
Yeah,
none of that was on accident. You know, if
none of the
that doesn't
red and
scare the
black.
bejesus out of everybody, if that doesn't make you go buy 10,000 rounds of ammunition, I don't know what's going to.
I
Quite
don't either.
honestly, when the regime of power says that you're an enemy of the state and they're coming for you, if that doesn't make you start prepping and bug out or do whatever it is you need to do to get to a safe place and get ready to fight, I don't know what's going to. Quite honestly, I don't think we can help you. Um, you're not going to be convinced by us.
Right,
If you think that they're not coming for you, then I don't know. Good luck.
right.
I guess you're probably not a friend of mine. You probably don't have the same value systems or beliefs as I do. So um, you're probably not my crowd.
No, that's
You're not
exactly
who
right.
God's called me to. I'm here to help those that profess Him as their Lord and Savior.
This is
And
what this is what prep
I
this is what
saw
prepping
that.
this is what prepping looks like, you guys.
How many pounds of beef is that?
That is very nearly almost 400 pounds.
Okay,
So
it's good.
yeah, no, that and half of that I should say half of that's going to we I split a half with a friend, so quarter of beef. So there's gonna be 200 pounds of that's gonna stay in my freezer. But that's okay because I've got 50 meat birds that are getting butchered next week. So like I
Okay.
can't I gotta have some freezer space. So like I'm really 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 okay with the fact that that's fine that some of that's going down the road.
Well, 200 pounds is not nothing.
200 pounds is not nothing, and we got it for $4 a pound when you do all the math on it. Like that's listen. Find a local farmer. If you're in Southwest
Yeah.
Missouri, look up Brandy Buck beef. Go talk to them. Okay, like after I reserved my beef, they raised their prices. But so get ready, guys. I mean, but even still, let's say I got for $4 a pound. I mean, that's steaks and ribs and my Christmas prime rib, and all of the beautiful things that you want that you can't, that I would be paying 20 or $30 a pound for at the store. I got for $4 a pound. Okay.
Yeah.
So $4 a pound might feel a little pricey on ground beef, but that's not pricey if you go to the store. Um, you know,
Not lately. No,
no, and
I had to
so
do a what was it, 500-600 pound buy to get it down to that price.
right. So I mean I'm excited. I mean, and not to mention I got a forest full of whitetails that need to get eaten.
Yeah.
And we've got 100 meat birds on the homestead right now. Did you see the ducks yesterday? We got ducks yesterday. Yeah, so
Good.
yesterday we posted a
Ducks.
video, got some baby ducks. So that'll add to
Okay.
the laying. We're going to call them the breakfast posse. So the breakfast posse that's 11 black Australorps, one funky little red and black Phantom, and then we got 10 ducklings that are coming up. So by next spring we're going to be rolling in eggs. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Eggs are good. Eggs are great protein.
Great protein. And you can turn yard clippings into bread, into eggs. You can turn
Oh,
brambles and briars and weeds and brush into eggs. My wonderful wonderful neighbor. Go check out Free State Homestead. I've got a YouTube short on how to feed your homestead animals for free, and it really just involves caring about your neighbor and being willing to stop and see how your neighbor's doing. I stopped by and he goes, "Hey, you got hogs and chickens?" I said, "Yes, sir, I do." He said, "Well, the whole front end loader of my tractor's full of sweet potato greens. I was just gonna go throw them on the wood pile and let them compost." He goes, "You want me to drop them off at the house?" I'm like,
nice,
"Yes." Probably three
nice,
or 400 pounds of sweet potato
nice.
greens. So now every day I've got a scoop going into the chickens, a scoop going into the chickens, a scoop going into the pigs. I probably put 45 pounds of sweet potato greens in with the pigs today. I haven't fed grain. I haven't fed pig food in 3.5 days since he gave me all of this stuff. Zucchinis, big, massive. And the zucchinis get a little woody. They're not all that great to eat anymore because they just get too dang big. These guys. So I've just been feeding them. The pigs went bananas for them. They went bananas for the vines and the leaves off of the sweet potatoes. Tomorrow I'll give them pig food too, just because they need the mineral that's made into it as well. But no, guys, listen, you can feed these animals. You can turn brush into bacon and into eggs. You can turn your yard clippings, especially even if you are silly enough to still live in the city. Go get you 3 or 4 chickens, guys. Go do it.
Yeah, a lot of cities will allow you to have chickens now, and a lot of times, depending on your neighbors, if you give your neighbors eggs, maybe they'll just be quiet and not turn you in.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's easier to get rid of them later than to not have it. It's the whole ask forgiveness rather than permission.
Well, and even if you
Um,
have an HOA that says you can't have chickens, guess what? Quail aren't chickens. Quail are not considered livestock. Quail are pets, and they're quiet,
yeah,
and they don't make a lot of noise, and they lay copious amounts of eggs, and they start laying eggs in eight
they do.
weeks. So,
That's a really good point. Yeah, it's a really good point. You could live off of a quail, a covey of quail. 12 or so. What are they? They're like 2, 3 a day, 1 or 2 a day each.
yeah, yeah, two a day, yeah, two a day. And they say that
It's like two and a half to be a large egg, right?
yeah, three. I think they say 3 quail eggs equals 1 chicken egg in mass, but has almost double the amount of protein.
There you go. Yeah.
So
So you cut it with some heavy cream or whatever, you wouldn't even barely notice. There's
yeah,
a
or
reason
mix
why
it
the
in with some
French love them.
rice. There's a reason why
Yeah.
the French love them. Yeah, that's exactly right. And if the French know how to do anything right, it's food. So
Yeah.
they don't really know how to do
Certainly
anything
not the
else right.
Brits.
No, certainly not the
No.
Brits.
Surrender.
So guys, quail is a great backyard meat
It
source
is.
and protein source. Rabbits are
Yep.
quiet. You can have a little rabbit hutch in a shed, and no HOA would ever even know that it was there. And then guess what? You've got copious amounts of rabbit poop to go grow extra vegetables with. So
Yeah, and you can maintain a breeding pair of rabbits for several years and just keep them separate. Wait for the
yep,
day, right?
yep, yep.
And then when you need them, now it's time to get busy. And within a
That's
week or two, you'll have quite the program.
That's exactly right. You'll have if you just have a pair, if you just have a buck and a doe, I would recommend 3 rabbits, 1 buck and 2 does, and 1 buck and 2 does can produce 350 pounds of usable protein a year. That is more than you will get off of raising 1 pig. You will
So
not
you
get
need that
300.
per person in your family. You need
You
that
need
per
that per
person.
person. But if you're trying to diversify, that is a really great way to diversify because you can get protein from
Right.
beans. You can get protein from your canned meats that you've been stockpiling. If you're just talking about fresh protein, you can really dial up your protein intake by having 3 rabbits. Now you're going to need a pretty decent sized grow up cage. That grow up cage is going to take those bunnies once they're about 6 or 8 weeks old. You're going to need to take them over, no, 4 weeks old. You're going to take them away from mama. You're going to leave one to make sure mama doesn't get mastitis. But you're going to take them and put them in the grow up cage. You can have that grow up cage sitting right on the grass, so that a fair portion of now it's got to have a floor because rabbits will dig, right? But you can have it right on the ground, and a fair portion of their feed will come from your lawn. They will eat and fertilize your lawn for you. I mean, the grow up cage can be a tractor, just like I do chicken tractors.
Right. Yeah, we've seen that done. And now's the time to look at that stuff on YouTube. I predict within the next 1 to 2 years, all of those videos will be gone.
Oh yeah, I think
YouTube's going to get rid of them. So
100%.
When they start to catch on that this is how conservatives are sustaining themselves and not having to participate. Did you see time for a switch slightly, but the Federal Reserve has set a timeline for establishing their own federal currency, crypto.
Yes. Crypto.
So that
yep.
passed.
It's coming.
And in 2024, you will have to interact using the Federal Reserve cryptocurrency. And you can look at 2024, 2025, somewhere in that time frame, depending on how things go politically. Fiat money is going to be outlawed, and once again, it'll be illegal to interact to use precious metals and trade, because they want all transactions to happen on the Federal Reserve cryptocurrency.
They want to be able to
already
monitor
stated
it.
that all federal workers will be paid using that system, and they're going to get rid of the banks. That's right. Because the banks are still there. They're not going to be in the way that you see a traditional bank.
Well, a lot of banks, even FDIC banks, have told the federal government to go pound sand on all this, report everything over $600 transactions. And
this election matters. We have to get people in office this round that are going to put a stop to that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you better just keep buying gold and silver, because you will be completely black market. You better start looking at heading to another country too.
Did you see that I posted another flash sale the other day on our? You guys watch our Facebook channels, our Facebook
I did.
Pages.
Yeah, I caught the post. I'm having a problem with AppMex right now. AppMex is incorrectly applying sales tax for my location, and despite 2-3 emails, 2 live chats, and 2 phone calls, they still won't fix it. So
that's rough.
Where I live, my sales tax is capped at $30, and they're not capping it. And I'm just not going to pay $200-300 in sales tax when I only have to pay $30 legally.
I'll never get that. Charge you $200 or $300 on sales tax? That's crazy.
They're charging 6% without a cap.
6% without a cap. Wow.
So their algorithm is wrong, and they're just not bothering to fix it, because it's probably only me and the people,
right,
the peninsula, that are buying from them.
Right.
And the reality is, there's other places to buy. So I went somewhere else where they know how to fix their system and care about me, and they lost another $10,000 sale for me.
Where did you move to?
AppMex doesn't care.
Who are you looking at? JP?
I don't have that. No, I did not go there. It was another company. It made me a little bit leery. They want your money to clear for over a week before they will ship, which I understand. I mean, business, and when you live so many days, and people could demand it back. So make sure you're buying from reputable companies. The company was reputable. They had a good reputation. It makes you nervous the first time, but everything worked out just fine. And it was actually better prices than AppMex anyway.
I just love that. I love that you use the term leery, because, we're talking about buying precious metals and gold and silver from a different company, and it made you leery. and Lear Capital is one of the big boys on the market. It was just a fight. I
Yeah,
laughed because it was like, oh, Lear,
it is funny.
okay, I got it. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
No, if I could remember the name of the company, I would tell you. I
No, it's
can't
cool.
remember.
That's all right,
I
man.
got a
You
bunch of
post the
foil
link.
backs. Something to
Oh,
consider. I think I shared some foil
you
backs on the show that in the bunker. I showed
you
it.
did. You did.
So foil backs are. I'm noticing in my local community, more and more people are being very interested in that because microtransactions with foil back currency is going to start happening more and more.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to carry than silver rounds. Um, you know, even quarter ounce and half ounce of gold is a lot of money. So,
Are you seeing the
know,
premium come down on Goldbacks?
no, 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 it's still pretty ridiculous. But it's buy now. Put your cash that's going to be worthless. Because once the Federal Reserve, again, the Federal Reserve has already looked this up. Please fact check us.
Yeah.
It's on the Daily Wire. It's
Yep.
on Google. It's on every
Yep.
news station out there. It's on Bloomberg. The Federal Reserve has established a cryptocurrency, and they are moving to make it mandatory. The only question is just when the date of fiat money is going to end.
Yeah.
It's just how
Well,
much longer, and it'll be within 1 to 2 years.
I would maintain that cryptocurrency is still fiat money. You're just talking about paper money. So the fiat
Yeah,
money is just
that's fair.
an unbacked monetary delineation. So
You're right. I'm using the term incorrectly.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But I just want to clarify for anybody who might be listening.
Your paper money. So
Paper money is going to
if you've
be
got
at what it's going to be at.
$100,000 in paper money,
Right.
you need to start rolling it into something like
There was a good one. There was a good
foil
one book
backs
that
and
talked
gold.
about the finance, that talked about the economic collapse of the country. A Goodwin book series, the one with the country music singer, I think,
Yeah,
and they swept in and said, that it was illegal to use paper money, it was illegal to use silver, they had to do everything on the black market,
yeah.
that kind of thing. It's
Which
coming.
again, if you're trying to make a mortgage payment, you're not going to be able to pay that with gold and silver.
Nope.
So before we get to the point where really rich people are going to buy your mortgage, right? You're going to be able to go to a private mortgage broker, and have them buy out your mortgage and have a private off the books note with them, and you'll be paying them in gold, silver, or whatever. And it's not going to be a favorable transactions.
No.
Get out of debt. Get out of your
No.
mortgage debt.
Yep.
You have a couple of years to do this. It's not going to be a long time.
I would
Most
maintain you
people,
have
if you
about
just,
a year to do this, and maybe not even that.
well, I'd say you have a year to be amongst the first to jump ship and figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Then other people are going to start to catch on. It's going to be less favorable, less people doing it. If you know someone now who you're good friends with who has the means, right? Like a boomer, a parent, somebody, a grandparent, that they have the money to buy your mortgage to nothing, strike a private deal with them.
Yeah.
Do it now. Who cares about your tax write-off? Get to the point where you're not paying taxes.
Yep.
Nobody, most rich people have their money working for them, and they don't pay a lot of taxes.
Nope.
But that's going to change. And
Yep.
the markets are being taxed, and Biden is going after the civilian Pelosi. So anybody who owns a bunch of money on the market, and they are taxing your equity. It's no longer just a gains tax. It's now your entire holdings are being taxed. So
right.
You need to be rethinking how you're going to survive in this new economy. And so that's a lot of what the economists talked about on the previous show. But you need to be repositioning for what's going to be happening in more of the circling the drain economy of the U.S. So as the fascists continue to take control, because believe me, I have zero faith that conservatives are going to win this election. I mean, I think we're going to win. It's just we're not actually going to win,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know that we're even
Um,
going to win. I think we're too far gone, but that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
there
a
won't be
absolutely
there will be
fatalist.
almost zero fair elections. We just saw it in Alaska. Our mail-in and ranked choice voting got the Democrat elected. Don Young is now being replaced by a Democrat. So congratulations, we've stood by and watched and allowed them to cheat once again. They will
Yep,
lie, cheat, and steal because they're evil, and that's what evil people do.
that's
So you
exactly
need to
right.
figure out how you're going to survive in an economy where the people in charge are evil people that lie, cheat, and steal.
Yep,
My
absolutely.
suggestion is have zero debt, have precious metals, and have lots of
Food.
food supplies, things like that. The stuff you're going to need.
You don't have to
Be in a
compromise
community.
yourself if you have enough groceries. You don't have to you don't have to stand in
Well,
line in a bread line. You don't have to go get on a bus. You don't have to go to a FEMA camp. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to compromise yourself if you have enough food put away.
yeah. Well,
And
food,
historically, I want you to
medicine.
look at things. Historically, I want you to look what was really, really hard to get a hold of during the Great Depression: sugar, coffee,
Yeah,
those kinds of things. Because why? Those are both import items. We don't make sugar. Well, I mean, you can get like sweet potato
we
sugar, you
do,
can
but
get corn syrup, those kinds of things, but we don't make sugar cane sugar. We don't make, let me say it this way, we don't make cane sugar in this country. Not in the mainland,
Hawaii.
Hawaii,
Yeah,
not in the mainland, but we don't make
and
coffee.
sugar's easy because it lasts forever. It's like
Forever.
salt. Just keep it dry. It's
It
all you
just
have to do
needs
is
to be
keep it
in a,
dry.
just put it in a bucket. Just put it in a bucket. That's it.
You can so easily go buy 2, 3, 400 pounds of sugar, and it'll last you. You could buy a lifetime supply of sugar for $100 to $200 right now.
Easy right now. And it's on
I
the
did it
shelf
last
waiting for
year.
you. And then guess what? Trade it. Remember the old days? Do you
If you
remember
need
the
to,
old days
yeah,
when the neighbor knocked on the door and was like, "Hey, could I borrow a cup of sugar?" No, you can't borrow a cup of sugar, but I'll trade you for a couple dozen eggs.
that gold
Um, or,
watch.
or
Yeah,
that gold watch.
2 gallons of
Oh,
2 gallons of gasoline.
two guy. Yeah, yeah. He's like, here's a cup of
Well, your
sugar
neighbor
for.
might be participating in the system, and you're going to have to, don't be careful who
Not
you
my
talk to.
neighbors.
But your neighbor might be, having the old chippy chip, and they might be participating in the crypto because they have to pay their mortgage, right? Or they work for the feds or somebody else. They work at the DMV, and that's the only way they can get paid. Um, you're going to want to work out a black market with them in a way that they're not giving you up.
Yeah.
So,
The other
and yeah,
thing that
cup
I
of
would
sugar as a trade.
the other thing that I just want to continue to beat this dead horse, nearly as much as I beat the dead horse of buy food, buy food, buy food. Get your health stuff in order. If you've got health
Yeah,
issues that you don't know how to deal with them, like if you got stuff wrong with you, go get it fixed. You need dental work done that you've been putting off because you don't like going to the dentist. Nobody likes going to the dentist.
no,
That is a way for you to invest your fiat currency that's going to dissolve into nothing into something tangible that benefits your body. Okay. So like I've worked really
yeah,
hard over the last couple of years getting my teeth squared away. I had bad teeth, guys, and there's still some issues that I just don't know without like, major orthodontist stuff, I can get it done. But right now, my teeth are healthy. I'm in place. Okay. Starting yesterday, I've got a hip thing. I could barely walk around the homestead. I'm limping around. I've got a doctor's appointment Tuesday. I'm going to the doctor to go find out what's going on in my hip. You guys get it figured out. You've watched me. I'm 165 pounds down. Okay. If you need to lose weight, get off your ass and lose some weight. Like go for a walk, buy a bicycle. Like that's a great way to prep. Buy a bicycle. If all the vehicles go
there you
down,
go.
you'll be really happy to have a bicycle. Get on it and pedal it. Find some other friends. I
Yeah,
got I got I got two or three friends, and then our wives jump on too, our jump on bikes too, and a couple of nights a week we're pedaling together. Guys, listen, it's time to move your body. It's time to get healthy. It's time to lose some weight. It's time to get your poop in a group. Get the things you need fixed. Take your worthless paper money and actually invest it into personal health.
Right. Yeah, I'll be buying a bicycle here pretty soon. We've got. I'm the only one without. I finally gave up on my round the world bicycle that I've ridden in, I don't know, dozens of countries. So I got to get a new one. We just picked up a bike carrier for the back of the coach. I
Nice.
could not find one for the life of me where we live. I had to go all the way to
Nice.
Fairbanks to get one. So, but yeah, you need to think about the trailer that you're pulling behind the bike, right? It's simple. It's just making the rounds to go visit neighbors. And if the cost is, I mean, fuel's going to be $10 a gallon here. Right after this election, they're artificially keeping it as low as they can, and it's not low.
Yeah,
That's not going to happen anymore after November.
that's
So
right.
by January, it's going to go back up several more dollars a gallon, and I completely believe that we will see $10 a gallon spring and summer of next year. If that's unsustainable for you, you need to start figuring out what you're going to do. If you think you're going to sell your pickup truck, because you're going to buy a new one or whatever, it's not going to be worth anything next year.
That's
In
right.
2008, 2009, when diesel prices were $5-6 a gallon back then, boats were worth nothing. Boats and 1-ton dually diesels, they were worth absolutely nothing. So,
Yep, that's
be
right.
thinking about that. Be thinking about that and
That's
what you're going to
exactly
do.
right. If you've got
So,
it, if you've got the ability, make friends with your local banker. And they will be selling stuff that they're repoing. A lot of times they'll go to
that's
auction, but I
true.
was I was told today by a local banker, he's like, "What? You want me to call you when I got repoed stuff?" And I'm like, "Absolutely."
They
He's
A
like,
lot of them will put it on their website first, or offer it to the membership, especially
"Yep,
credit unions. They would love to sell it to a member of the credit union because
yep,
it's very clean for them. It just transfers from account to account. They'll even let you assume the loan, or
yep."
like all sorts of things. There's a lot they
But
can do in a credit union.
a lot of times you can buy it for the projected value of auction. So if it has to go to
Sure.
auction, they'll project what they would probably be able
No
to sell it at
risk.
auction. No risk.
Yeah.
So
And you can
so
always make an offer. The
yeah,
worst they can say is no.
the worst they can say is no.
Cash talks. Believe me, banks love cash
They do.
because they're having a
They do.
hard time getting it. There are coin shortages like crazy. There are cash shortages. The banks love cash.
Yep.
Of course, they're still going to turn you into the IRS when you show up with a bunch of it, but
Yeah, don't show up with a bunch of
it's
it.
not
Don't
against
show
the
up.
law.
It's not.
Just remember that when the IRS calls you, it's not against the law. You did nothing wrong.
And the response to the IRS should be the same response that you gave to the ATF. Come back with a warrant.
I did nothing wrong. I have nothing to hide. Come back with a warrant.
That's
Call my
exactly
lawyer.
right. Call my lawyer.
Give them the wrong phone number.
There you go.
Make them do the hard work.
Hey, listen, you guys,
Pick.
we love you. We love you. We're going to be running out. We're running out of time. We're coming up on that
You're
hour
in that
mark, and
light.
and I know that my cellular data throttles me after about an hour of streaming. We're going to go super duper sideways here. So, guys, listen, it's time. Don't screw around anymore. If you're just watching us because like we're crusty and we're mildly
Entertaining
entertaining,
or whatever. Yeah.
or if you're watching this and you're just afraid, like we just make you more afraid, like please understand, just stop watching us then. Okay, like don't you don't need to watch
If you're not
us
gonna
anymore.
do something, then don't.
Yeah, if this is just fear
If you're not
fodder
gonna
for
make a
you,
change in your life,
don't watch our
it
show
isn't for
anymore.
you.
Yeah, but if you're
Yeah.
gonna do something, go down. If you're on the West Coast, go to whatever they call cash and carry now. I think it's like U.S. Chef Supply Source or some BS. I don't know. I haven't found the restaurant supply place here yet, but I'm going to. So right now we're that's not how we're prepping. We're prepping by growing food and growing animals. We've got most of the stuff that we want bought. Granted, we would love to have more, right? I want to have enough to be generous. But guys, listen, it's time to get off your butts. It's time to get moving. Let's get after it.
Yep. Get your
Get
body armor.
prepped.
Get your ammunition. Get it right now.
Get prepped.
Too late.
Thanks, guys. Hang out with us next week.